Alrighty, guys. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back here to another live stream. We got ourselves another update for y'all, and I tell you what, my friends, today's update is a little bit interesting. We got ourselves actually now a risk from the Storm Prediction Center, a 15% risk covering a lot of the Central Plains and portions of the Midwest. We're going to be getting into that here in a second. But what's up, everybody? Hope everyone is doing good. First of all, big thank you goes to Mark, dude, for the $5. That's really sweet of you, man. You did not have to do that, but I appreciate it. Saying hydration fund. I'll tell you what, my friend, we got the hydration in the house tonight. We got the water already set, man. I was ready for the stream, y'all. But thank you, Mark. I appreciate that, man. Let's see who we got today. We got ourselves Clint. We have Peachy, Austin, Isaac, Christy, Gio, Braven, Raka. Let's see here. Gabrielle. I'm so sorry. My pronunciation's terrible. Elijah. Let's see here. We have Jeff, Will, Chris, Mark, of course. Thanks, man. Tornado Man, Legacy, Mike. Hope everyone's doing good, you guys. But, alrighty, so let's go ahead and hop on into it, my friends. We do got ourselves a risk now from the SPC. This is official. Now, here's the thing, y'all. We're going to be doing zip codes later today, like we used to do. Typically, before a severe weather event, I like to do zip code forecasts because now we actually have an understanding. We can't really break down the tornado probability from the hail and winds right now. But what we can do is we can essentially show you guys where the overall risk area is. And as you can see on the map here, this is a risk that was from the Storm Prediction Center. We do got ourselves a slight risk, a severe threat level, 2 out of 5 as of right now is what this equivalents to. So that does include areas like northeastern Texas. You know, they're right towards Dallas, you know, Dallas-Fort Worth area, northeastern Texas, including Wichita Falls, Paris, Gainesville. You guys are in the risk. Moving to Oklahoma, a lot of the state of Oklahoma is under the risk for Wednesday. Remember, this is for Wednesday, guys. Oklahoma City, we have Tulsa, areas out there near like Fort Smith. That's actually more towards like Arkansas, which, yeah, western Arkansas does have a little bit of a risk as well towards like Rogers, Springdale, Fayetteville, Fort Smith. You know, some of the western sides here. Does not include Little Rock as of now, but it would not be impossible to see any storms out there because, you know, remember, this is equivalent to the slight risk, that level 2 threat. You know, the area of where severe weather is going to happen, it could extend out a little bit by the time we get to Wednesday. Then, of course, we do have like central and western areas here of Missouri included, including Kansas City was one of the big ones here. Springfield, Joplin, Jefferson City, Missouri, you guys are under the gun here for potential severe weather. And, of course, we got eastern Kansas, including Topeka and Wichita, actually in the risk here for severe weather coming up. So these areas here we're going to need to be watching out for pretty closely. Once again, we are seeing the risk for all hazards here, including tornadoes. Tornadoes will be a concern as we're getting ready to look at on the models here in a minute. Tornadoes will be a concern. I think that damaging winds obviously will be a concern as well, but also hail potentially as well. I think we might have a triple threat going on here, so all three hazards are going to be possible. Well, like I said, right now it's still a little early to break down the exact probabilities regarding their percentages. As you guys know how the SPC works, they issue percentages based off of each threat. For example, you know, like they would put like I said, not saying that this is what they're going to do for the storm, but they would put like a 2, a 5, a 10% chance for tornadoes. We can't look at that quite yet because it's still a little early. But here on the day before the event, which would be Tuesday, we will know the overall breakdown regarding what we can expect overall. So, but yeah, we'll get into the models and stuff like that. And like I said, we'll do zip codes later on too. That way we can kind of, just kind of pinpoint and show you like, yes, you're in the risk area. No, you're not. So we'll get to that here in a little bit. Let's see here. Isaac, I got a question. Even though we don't have much info on it, do I think Illinois will be part of possible severe around November 8th? That's a little far out for me to really forecast. I mean, I don't like looking more than a week out, really, because of how crazy the models change over such a short period of time. So I'm going to hold off on that. If it becomes a severe weather potential, we'll talk about it. I mean, we are going into that second severe weather season, which is fall. This is like our first setup here for severe weather this season. And now, if it becomes an issue, if it does become a problem at some point, we'll be on top of it. We'll cover it. We'll talk about it days before it happens, like this one here. And by the way, I do plan on covering this. I am going to cover this with you guys in order to help keep you guys prepared and safe, and that way it can give you guys like live, real-time data whenever the event happens. Once again, for the people just joining, this is starting on Wednesday. As of now, there's no risk for Thursday per SPC. So that's something we'll also have to watch out for, is maybe an extension into the day 5, which would be on Thursday, which is Halloween. There might be an extension for maybe more of the lower states, towards like Louisiana, Arkansas. Maybe a continuation of severe weather could occur. Let's just hop into models. Let's just take a look at the models. We're going to jump on into that here. So let's go ahead and do that now. So this is the American GFS model run. Now, the first thing we want to look at here is like the instability. So this is basically the fuel in the atmosphere. Remember yesterday how I was telling you guys we're going to have the NAM model available today? We should. So let's take a look at the NAM here in a minute too. But starting off with the GFS here overall, we work our way down in time. And you can see as we approach our way into the 30th, you notice how there's this big pool of instability. So this is basically the fuel for the thunderstorms. The way I always represent this is like, imagine a car. If you don't have any gas in your car, you're not going to go anywhere. That's kind of what we're looking at here. We're looking at the amount of fuel we have in our tank, in which, isn't the most I've seen, but it's enough. It is enough to get us somewhere. So that is what we're looking out there for. And if you look, a lot of that instability includes Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas. Some of it, according to the GFS model, might even go up towards like Iowa. But you can see areas towards like Missouri, Arkansas, maybe not much out there towards Louisiana. We can't really take it that serious to the preciseness of this model, because it is a long-range model after all. But you can see this big pool of instability that we do have. This is for the evening here, or kind of the afternoon evening here of Wednesday the 30th. So that is that. Now the values here range around 500 to 800 joules per kilogram. Now that's considered a low amount of instability, but that's very common for this time of the year because of the fact that, typically during these setups, we do have that low instability, and we do have higher wind shear, which kind of makes up for it. And if we take a look at those lower level winds, according to the GFS, you notice how there is a very strong lower level jet out there. So we're looking at the lower atmosphere, the winds at the lower atmosphere here. We do have ourselves a pretty strong lower level jet. I mean, we're talking like 40, 50 mile an hour sustained jet. That's the lower level winds, about 5,000 feet up in the air, moving to the northeast. Now that's gonna give an environment that is possible for tornadoes. So we're gonna really have to look out there for that. We're gonna absolutely have to lolook out for that. Let's see here. Isaac says here in Illinois we're expecting wind accumulation of 43 mile an hour over 5 days. Wind accumulation? Okay. I do know there's going to be a bit of windy conditions with this. We do have a tight isobaric, basically a very, very tight pressure gradient that will be included here towards the central plains, which will make it windy on the ground too. If that's what you're talking about, that is a possibility. We'll look at that here in a minute as well. But yeah, you can really see that the winds, I mean, that jet stream really, really amplifies up here towards a lot of the places towards like Missouri, eastern Kansas, Oklahoma, possibly even like northwestern Arkansas, according to the GFS model. So not only do we have instability here indicated where I put that pink line, that's where our instability is, we have a pretty strong lower level jet here in the black circle there too. So yeah, as you can tell, it's definitely looking pretty good so far. Now, another thing we look at is dew points, in which you can see that's not an issue at all. Typically you want your dew points for, moisture content, moisture supply for these storms to be in the 60s, in which that's what we were at. So we are good. So we also have a pretty solid, like I said, we basically have ourselves a pretty solid amount of moisture as well. We have that northerly air advection from the Gulf that's bringing in a lot of moisture. Bringing in a lot of moisture, bringing up a lot of water vapor, which is going to be used from those thunderstorms. So that's also being supplied. I mean, you can literally see how the eastern country is, in some pretty decent moisture, higher dew points than we've been in. Like I said, it's been pretty dry out here across the eastern country for some time now, and now it's the west turn to continue to see that dry air. And if you look closely, there's actually a really sharp boundary. This is actually our cold front. So what's going on here is we have a low pressure system somewhere positioned up towards the central plains, in which this is going to be bringing down a lot of cold air, cooler and drier air from Canada. And then the opposite is happening down in the south, where we have a lot of that warm and more moisture-filled air that kind of gets advected north into the country. So you can kind of see how this is going, and it's all because of this low-pressure system. These guys like to spin counterclockwise here in the northern hemisphere, which is kind of like a big cake mixer. How it just kind of a cake mixer, whatever you call it. I ain't no chef. Ask Mark. Mark, what is it called? But yeah, so it really mixes up the atmosphere. It's essentially what's going on here. And what that is doing is it's bringing down the cooler, drier air and bringing up the warmer and more moisture-filled air out there. So really getting that mixing. And then, of course, that line there, that's for our cold front. And that's where the storms would be firing off because, we have a significant source of lift, which gets that warm air off of the ground and shoots it up into the airloft. So that will be getting those storms going. But anyways, so that's that. We're going to remove some of those markings there. But yeah, so the blue is representing that moisture. The black is representing that strong lower level jet. And the kind of pink color here is representing where the instability is. So based off of all of that, I mean, this is once again for the evening of Wednesday. Based off of what we got going on there, I mean, that's a pretty... look at that SRH there too. Wow, we're breaching near 300. So that is pretty strong wind shear, as well as, like I said, good conditions for tornadoes, unfortunately. Now, from yesterday's assessment, what I was talking to you guys about, ranging, because like I said, I really range things between... with tornadoes, I range them in weak, 3 different categories. We have weak, we have strong, and we have violent. In this case, this setup here is going to be potentially capable of producing strong tornadoes. Now, to be exact, what size tornadoes, I'd say up to EF2 as of now could be possible, just given, the kinematics and, the thermodynamics involved in the system here. So we'll definitely need to be watching this here very, very closely. Now let's go ahead and hop over to the NAM here. We're going to take a look at the NAM, the North American model here. We're going to take a peek at it because now we finally got the range here that we need to look at the model. Now, first of all, I want to look at the instability. Okay. Wow. So already a big changing or a big difference here. So first of all, the NAM shows a lot of that instability going up a little bit higher, possibly up in towards like Iowa maybe. It also shows higher instability, which I was actually mentioning that yesterday in the stream, how long-range models, they don't pick up on instability as well as the short and the mid-range models do, in which that is very well shown here. And you can see that there's a lot more instability. I mean, we're shooting over 1,000 joules per kilogram of instability here. So that is representing a lot or a lot more amount of instability than like the GFS does. Also for the same time period. So let's go ahead and do what we did last time. We're going to go ahead and highlight the instability roughly in the pink. Now this shows some of that instability maybe getting up towards, once again, Iowa. It seems fairly capped out, so storms might have a bit of a problem firing up there. But at least for the areas out towards like Missouri, Kansas, of course, Oklahoma and Texas, that will... be a much easier scenario be a much easier situation for that to occur. Now, the thing that I do not like here, is how strong that lower level jet is. Like I mentioned, 40, 50 knots at this point, according to NAM. That is a very strong lower level jet stream. Now that could be a big problem for tornadoes. From what it looks like, the biggest tornado problem is going to be, at least from where we're looking at now, I think the biggest threat for tornadoes is going to be roughly in these areas here, towards like northeastern Oklahoma, eastern Kansas, western Missouri. This is kind of the bullseye here from where I think a lot of those tornadoes are going to be, and that's where you have the strongest potential of those tornadoes. So let's go ahead and grab a sounding. We're just going to grab a random sounding here in like western Missouri just to kind of grab a nice little view here. We're also going to full screen that. You guys can't really, well, you guys can kind of see it. First of all, yeah, instability is fairly low on this, but our winds really do make up for that. Really, really strong wind shear there. We do have a slight curvature to our hodograph representing that veering wind column. So basically how the winds are changing directions with altitude. Not only are they violently changing wind directions with altitude, but they're also increasing in wind speeds as we go up in elevation. So due to the fact that we have those winds changing, rapidly changing their wind direction and increasing in wind speeds, that will give us a tornado environment based off of the wind shear alone. But with everything else involved, like high moisture content from that northerly air advection up there towards the Gulf, between that as well as, like I mentioned, between that as well as like the instability and stuff like that, that's what we're looking at there for. Let's see, given that it's almost in the middle of the risk area too. Yeah, that's, like I said, that's kind of where I'm thinking that the biggest concern is going to be out there towards like, probably western Missouri. Could see some of the nastiest of the storm here. So we'll definitely be tracking this. Absolutely. We'll be here the evening here for Wednesday to cover this. Remember, this is the day before Halloween. Now, another thing we were talking about is how this even could continue into Halloween. For that, the NAM is not really present here. Tomorrow, we'll be able to figure out what we can look out for, or at least what the NAM model will show us here. We'll see that tomorrow. Right now, the farthest the model goes is the end of the 30th into the early 31st. So for that, we're going to look at the GFS. Which, GFS will show the continuation of that cold front, which might keep severe weather pretty low, not much surface area to cover, but, there could still be enough instability here for the 31st, so for Halloween, across some of these regions here. So this area could have a potential thunderstorm threat for Halloween, including, like, more towards coastal Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, portions of, like, southern Arkansas, maybe western Tennessee. You can't really take it that precise with these models. Because that could easily change given the fact that we're still, like 4 days away here. So, from the Halloween event. So, there is enough instability there. Let's see here. Dew points, very rich. Actually, a lot more richer than the 30th. I mean, we're talking near 70 in some points. So that's really good moisture supply. So that's good enough, of course. The winds, the kinematics will be a lot weaker to come here for the 31st as that low pressure system swings its way up to the northeast. While we still have the instability and the moisture supply, the kinematics, so the winds, the wind shear will be off to the northeast here, away, offset from that convection, or say off, just off from that instability. So that, honestly, like I said, it's good news. So the 31st for Halloween, the storms wouldn't be as strong as they would be here for the 30th. So that's kind of what it boils down to, based off of what we're looking at here. It seems like the 30th is going to be the day, the big day. And the 31st, could have some lingering severe storms, likely not as crazy or significant, possibly down in these areas in blue, while the main jet streams up to the northeast there, away from all of that instability, which you can see here. That's where all that jet stream is. That's where all that wind shear is at up here, and then the instability is down here, so kind of away from all of that. So the 31st will host potentially some more severe weather, but the main of it is going to be here for the 30th, for the late 30th, kind of the afternoon, evening of the 30th. Rolling into overnight hours, you can kind of see that overall. Now, I do want to look at the NAM perspective on reflectivity here. Wow, look at that. Holy cow. Look at that long line. That's a squall. So, very common for this time of the year, actually. Squall lines, in which that looks like the main mode. Matter of fact, yeah, just a long line of thunderstorms trailing that cold front there. That seems to be the mode here, in which some embedded supercells, so embedded, tornadic potential could occur. Unfortunately, that's a bad thing, because not only does this event kind of persist into the overnight hours, after sunset, not only does it do that, but it's also embedded and rain wrapped. So tornadoes would be covered in sheets of rain more than likely in an event like this, as well as, like I said, it'll be dark, so you wouldn't be able to see too much. So that brings up a bit more of concern. So obviously, yeah, if we want to prepare for that. We want to make sure that we're ready for that, because nocturnal embedded rain wrapped tornadoes does seem to be a possibility with an event like this, unfortunately. But yeah, there you go. You can see that long squall there, according to, you can see that according to the NAM model here. But we'll keep an eye on it. I really curious to see, like, what the HRRR has to show us, with this. Which, if you don't know what the HRRR is, it's a high resolution rapid refresh model, which that is the short range models. Let's see. QLCS tornadoes are possibly nocturnally along with the rain and wind. Yeah, so it will be at nocturnal, which is nighttime. The terminology of nocturnal means active at night. So there will be nocturnal tornado threats, as well as rain wrapped. Like I said, just kind of wrapped in curtains of rain, because the thing is that whenever this thing is, I wish I could. Oh, actually, I can zoom into it. What am I saying? Let's zoom in that a little bit. So. Can't really find a good viewing point, but there we go. So, for example, not saying that this is going to happen, but say there's a tornado that happened right there, okay? That's the thing, is, like, it will be embedded in that heavy precipitation, which, basically would wrap the tornado around with these rain bands, which would make it only so much harder to see. So, yeah, that's kind of the problem. Nighttime tornadoes that you can't see, that's an issue. So we got to keep an eye out there for that. We got to keep that in mind overall. But but like I said, with the event and everything like that, that lower level jet is quite strong, dude. Quite strong. We're talking 45, upwards of 50 knots or more. That's definitely pretty strong. Lower level jet activity. So that's what we're looking at, is the lower level winds about 5,000 feet up in the atmosphere. So, not super high up. So they're lower level winds, but they're very important for tornadoes and stuff like that. So then, of course, we have our storm relative helicity, which is very important. It's like that rotating updraft potential there, in which values are supporting like 300 plus. That's considered pretty high. Can I get a sounding from that area? Yeah, we can pull up a sounding here. We're gonna pull one up here so this is at 06 Zulu here. We're gonna pull one up here towards it's a little slightly capped environment here, but that considering how much lift we're gonna have and how strong the vertical velocities are gonna be from that cold front, that might even be able just to shoot right through that cap, no problem. We're gonna go ahead and grab just a sounding out there in western Arkansas. Let's just kind of see what's going on here. Okay, so first of all, you can actually see that veering wind that we were talking about there. So first of all, look at over here. Okay, just look over here. Actually, just look right here at this right here. Okay, so this is ground level. So this is like where you and I are at right now at the ground, in which this line here, you can't see it, but this is 3 kilometers up. This is 9 kilometers up, 12 kilometers up, and so on. So you can see we're gaining altitude, and this works like a normal, cardinal compass here. These wind barbs, so you can see at the surface the winds are going basically north. The winds are going from the south to the north. And as we go up in altitude, as we approach like 3 kilometers, you see a big change in wind direction. Instead of going north towards the surface, the winds actually aggressively change to the northeast overall. So that wind directional change there, that is, that veering that we were talking about, in which that is tornadic, ingredient there. And so that's what we need to look for as well. So we have that varying wind shear. You can see a slight little curvature to the photograph there, a little bit of a hook there. That is given a tornado sounding. So that, instability, once again, like I said, instability is fairly low in this event. That's normal for this time of the year. This is what we call a low cape, high shear environment, in which, the winds kind of make up for it, essentially. So we'll definitely need to look out very closely for that. So Brad, Illinois is going to be fine, more than likely, with this event. A lot of that activity is going to be to your west. The main problem here, y'all, we're gonna hop on back over to my to the view here. Here, let's go back to the main screen, and we're gonna talk about that area again. So this was from the this right here is from the SPC. Let's go ahead and hop on over there now. So this is from the SPC overall. And like I said, this is the area of severe weather according to. Let's see here. Hold on a minute, y'all. I'm gonna clear something real quick. So this is from the SPC's outlook area. So this is where severe weather is expected. Remember, this is for Wednesday. So areas up there towards like northeastern Texas, you guys are at risk. This includes areas by Dallas, Paris, Texas, Wichita Falls, Oklahoma, like OKC included, Tulsa. We have like Fort Smith and some of those areas out there overall. Which also includes, like I said, western areas of Arkansas, western Missouri, and like eastern portions of Kansas. Now, like we were looking at the models, the highest wind shear is going to be more towards that northern part of the risk area. While the risk for severe weather will persist further south, I think the greatest threat is going to be up here in the northern part, which I really believe that the way that things are going now, I think, just based off the information we have available to us at the moment, this leads me to believe that a lot of these areas here are probably going to be seeing some of the heaviest of the activity. Probably the biggest tornadic activity, the strongest tornadic activity will likely be in this area here. So we'll doubt if you're in this region here, if you know anybody in that region, just let them know. I mean, share this live stream to them, share the channel to them, because like I said, we're going to be covering this thing too. Whenever it happens. So we'll be covering it. There will also, like I said, not only just be a tornado threat, but there's also going to be the threat for, damaging winds too. That's going to be like the second main concern, I think, is, straight line winds will also be a potential issue. So straight line wind damage, tornadoes, and even some hail, could be a possibility. Good night, Brad. Let's see. Tornado common for fall. I thought it'd be too cold for tornadoes. No. See, here's the thing. During fall, the atmosphere as a whole, like the upper atmosphere, is still fairly warm. Ground level and upper levels are still fairly warm. They're not like winter. But what happens during the fall is as we start to pull away from direct sunlight, as the Earth tilts back, and as we start to lose direct sunlight from the sun, things do tend to cool down a bit, in which we start introducing colder air shots into the country. And that's what's happening here, which gives us a nice cold front setup. Because of the fact here, for example, we have our cold front in this case. We have all of that colder air coming down from like Canada. The drier, cooler air comes down from Canada. Meanwhile, we have the low pressure system, somewhere off to the north, in which these guys rotate counterclockwise. So you can just see it mixing up and just pulling down that cooler air from Canada, which also brings up that warm, moisture-filled air up in, from the Gulf. So this is very important, and overall, kind of the macro scale of things, the big picture of why this is happening. So these events are very common in, like I mentioned, very, very, very common in fall, which we call this like second severe weather season because of the fact that this is a very common type of setup. But this is our first setup of the season so far, so this will be a decent shot. Let's see. I can't wait to chase these storms. I would honestly highly advise against chasing these storms due to the fact that this is going to be a squall line. You're not going to be able to see the tornadoes for one, but also it's going to be likely nighttime during some of them. So not only are you having a rain-wrapped tornado potential and nocturnal threat, this would not be the ideal scenario to chase. I'm not really for. I mean, if you want a storm chase, do it at your own risk. But I personally would advise you against it because of the fact of how dangerous this kind of setup is. Now, I would be a little bit more lenient if it was like a dry line setup with, individual supercells that you can kind of easily see around the tornado and stuff like that. But in this case, you can't really see it. That's the problem. Is the fact that this is just going to be a long squall line. So that's, I would advise against it personally. Here, let's go ahead and load up some data here. We're going to pull up the NAM on this screen here. Let's see. What's up, Darian? Hope you're doing good. Yeah, so you can see as we work way down in time, that squall line that develops there. I do need to add somebody in my, if anybody's listening right now, in my Discord, or anybody who's in YouTube right now who's in my Discord, send me a message, ping me, in off topic, and remind me to add a time for Radar Omega. Just say time Radar Omega, and I'll be good. Just somebody in my Discord, just do that so I don't forget, because I do need to add the time so you guys can see this, because y'all can't see the time right now. But this is for 2 a.m. On Halloween, actually, showing that squall line rolling through like southwestern Missouri towards like Springfield, towards like Fort Smith around that time, and like I said, even like towards Dallas and stuff like that. Could do that. So. But yeah, so absolutely. So we're going to definitely need to watch out for that here. Can I pull up instability on this? Surface-based CAPE, which is our surface-based instability. Why does... They gave this a really radioactive-looking color here. I'm not going to lie. I don't really use this program for like, the models often, but... Yeah, so you see all that green and yellow, that's just representing some of the instability, though. The bad thing I don't like about this is it doesn't really show where the cap is in place. So while there is traces of instability up further north, there is a capping inversion, which would like prevent some storms from going up that high. Let's see here. Yeah, a lot of the main threat here is going to be like towards where the yellow circle is from the SPC overall. Pretty much, Mike. Yeah, it's a very radioactive looking color that they have there. I ain't gonna lie. Let's see here, 850 millibar winds. But yeah, the lower level jet stream here is gonna be, absolutely ripping on this event here. Like I said, our lower level winds are gonna be kind of concerning, honestly. And you can see a lot of the heaviest of the wind shear as we get into storm initiation point. A lot of that's going to be up there more towards the northern portion of the, of the threat overall. That's what I was saying. I think that like eastern Kansas, like western Missouri, like northeastern Oklahoma, is probably going to be feeling the heaviest of the threat there. What's up, real time? Hope you're doing good. I feel like the circle is going to shift more south once time gets closer. We'll see. I mean, once we get that short-range model activity coming in, that will be a lot more useful. Because, like I said, right now, we're just starting to dip our toes in the water for the mid-range models. Like I said, NAM is just now starting to talk about it because we're finally at that point. Because, the NAM, the mid-range models only go out so far. And same can be said with the short-range models, like HRRR, which that usually really starts picking up like the day before the event. So yeah, that's we still got a couple of days before the HRRR starts talking about it, but But now we can start to see the NAM. This is the last run, or the last frame from the NAM here, showing that cold front roll through. Let's actually look at the temperatures here on that too. That's very big temperature gradient. Look at that, very sharp change in those temperatures. I mean, if you look closely, before the event strikes, you can see how once we have all that northerly air advection, all that warm and moisture-filled air just getting pulled up into the country here from the Gulf. All that moisture too included. Look at those temperatures out there. We have like 80s, mid 80s towards like Central Texas. Like upper 70s. A lot of this, a lot of the 70s throughout the Midwest there too. But look how quickly that changes overnight. Once that cold front pushes through, and this model doesn't go as far down in time. But let's use like OKC for an example. You see like 79 degrees there. This is for like the afternoon, evening of the 30th. 79, right? And as the cold front goes over, that quickly drops well into like the 40s and everything like that. The temperatures behind it are very cold. Just a huge change in temperatures, over that distance there. That's your cold front for you. That's what they do. Let's see here. Our reservoir for many times 8+ feet below level. It hasn't been that way in over 50 years, so we need the rain. Oh, yeah, Dylan. It's been very, very dry out there. We've had, that high pressure ridge that's been in place throughout a lot of the central and eastern country for several days, at this point, in which that's really dried things up. I have a friend up in Missouri who's been saying it's been very, very dry lately. That's an understatement. I also had somebody tell me the other day that, in southwestern Missouri, it's crunchy grass out there. It's pretty bad. Let me bring up the, here, first of all, let's hop back over here for a minute, but let me bring up the drought monitor again. We didn't bring this up today, but we brought it up yesterday in our update live stream for you guys. So this is the drought monitor, and so you can kind of tell a lot of the country right now is very, very, very dry, as you can tell, except for the area where those hurricanes hit. We had Milton come through, then Helene that really dug its way up into the country there. And so you can really kind of see where that track was, from Helene, how Helene just went straight up through and, kind of really dumped a lot of rain throughout the region. That's why it's just, all fine and dandy down here. But then, the more west you go, you notice how, the colors become, fall colors, basically. Just showing just different levels of drought, some of the heaviest of it right now is out there, even towards, West Virginia and Ohio, southeastern Ohio. Very dry, but, for the areas here, I mean, yes, this will definitely bring a relief to some of the regions. It won't necessarily cure it, but it will help a bunch. It definitely will. What's up, Janice? Hope you're doing good. I'm doing good. Let's see here. How's it looking for Mobile this week? So Alabama's not really in the threat here for this event. This event's going to be more to the west overall. Like I mentioned, for the 31st, for Halloween, some of the models do have maybe some form of severe weather happening more towards Louisiana and Mississippi. Here, let's bring that up here. Yeah, we'll have to look at the long range here for that. There we go. And stability and stuff like that. So you can see, as we approach away here into the afternoon here of the 31st, there's going to be a window potential for some storms, perhaps some severe storms, throughout portions of Mississippi, Louisiana, southern Arkansas, coastal side of Texas here. But like we mentioned before, the wind shear is not that strong for the 31st. The strongest storms would probably be towards Louisiana, maybe Arkansas. That's the greatest ratio from instability to wind shear. That would be the best conditions. Not much wind shear along coastal Texas, though. That's where we have our most instability. So it's kind of offset there. But yeah, the middle point would be right in here towards Arkansas, Louisiana. Probably will be the best conditions there for if severe weather happened on the 31st. But of course, day prior to that, we hop over here to the Midwest, and you can just see how strong that lower level jet is. I mean, it's ripping. Like we mentioned, this is about 5,000 feet aloft. So 5,000 feet up in the air, that's not super high. I mean, it's high, but it's, lower level atmosphere, in which, this is a very important uh, ingredient for tornadoes, is how to have that really strong wind shear down there. Um, and if we hop back to NAM here, you can actually see that instability there. Fairly good amount of instability working its way there towards like Oklahoma and whatnot, and like the wind shear is fairly strong. But the lower level jet here in this case is going to be about like 40-50 knots, which that's considered pretty tough. Pretty strong. Which that kind of gives me a little bit of concerns, for like tornadic activity. I hate to say it, but like I think we could have some strong tornadic activity with the storm here, so we'll keep an eye on it. What's the follow-up on Thursday? Is Wednesday severe weather going to continue? So like I mentioned, on Halloween, there could be some severe weather down a little bit further to the south. It wouldn't be as potent, and that would be out there more towards like Louisiana, Arkansas area, because what happens is the instability shoots south. Let's hop back over to, actually, we're just going to zoom out here. But the instability in the event for the 30th or the 31st, shoots more to the south, more towards these regions here, while the jet stream is mostly positioned up here. So they kind of spread apart from each other while you need them together, to get some really nice organized severe weather. And they're going to come in closest contact here, or direct contact for the 30th. That's why the 30th is going to have like the big severe weather days, because not only do we have our strongest instability available to us, but we also have our strongest wind shear. And like I said, that lower level jet there is actually pretty strong. There. So we're gonna keep an eye on it. I had to put on my sunglasses. I have pretty bad eyes, and they like to, get really bright when I stare at all these monitors for so long. They help. Let's see. Am I expecting anything nasty for southern Mississippi? I live in a trailer, and my neighbors aren't in a better situation, so I worry about tornadoes. Gotcha. So the good news is that the main tornado threat will be northwest of Mississippi. So I don't think you're going to have much of a tornado concern from what I'm seeing as of now. I do want to wait a little bit, though, for like those mid and short range models to come through. There might be a little narrow window for the 31st for maybe a couple storms potentially. But like tornado wise, I don't think so. I think you're pretty good. And if anything, it'd be fairly weak overall. So thanks, Peachy. I appreciate it. I love the old aviators. Xavier says another system come behind that too. Yeah, potentially. Models have been kind of suggesting maybe another system behind it. We'll see. Oh yeah. Also, the tropics is hitting up here too. Here, let's take a quick little moment to pop over to the tropics here real fast. We do got a little region here that NHC continues to upgrade here. Overall, 40% chance probability of a tropical cyclone developing within the next 7 days in the Caribbean. Not expecting any development in the next 48 hours or 2 days, so that's good. Let's hop to the models real quickly. Let's just take a quick little peek at what the tropics are doing. We'll get back into severe weather here in a second, y'all. Just wanted to at least touch up on this once, during the stream here. So GFS has a storm developing here for the 31st, so literally for Halloween there. Has that storm kind of going through the Eastern Caribbean. It could be a big problem for this has actually been kind of consistent with the GFS for the last couple of days, is the fact that this could be a problem for like Haiti and the Dominican Republic out there, potential landfall. We'll have to see how that goes. Then maybe curving back up towards the Bahamas. It's still a little early to tell. That is still pretty far out. Let me see CMC real quickly. CMC shows that storm. See, look, CMC shows a complete opposite scenario. Actually has it going the other way. Has it going more to the west there. So, yeah, we'll see about all that. And of course, Euro. I don't know if Euro picks up on it too much. It shows more of a broad low, but yeah, Euro tends to do that quite often, even with these. Then Icon, just simply not far enough, I don't think. Here, let's go at 12 Zulu run. Yeah, kind of more of a broad low too. We'll see. But yeah, no, we're definitely going to keep an eye out there for that. EPS ensembles here. Still all over the place there. So it shows that the main area, where that low develops there. You can see all those little members. And then they kind of disperse and diverge there. And just kind of spread all over the place. So there's obviously still a lot of uncertainty in the tropics here. So we'll keep you posted. I mean, for now, there's no concern in the U.S. or anything like that. So don't worry about it. I just, it's something to mention. It could be a problem to the folks towards like the Caribbean islands at some point. But there's just so many questions that we still have at this moment. It's still just a little early to tell. Let's see here. What's up, Scott? Hope you're doing good, man. What's up, Roberts? Saying, hey, sir, just came in. How's Springfield, Missouri? Okay, so Springfield's going to be a part of one of the areas that we got to really keep an eye on. Here, let's hop on over here. Well, first of all, you can see Springfield. Let's get rid of the weird data here. So you can see Springfield's actually in the risk there. We do have that 15% risk from the SPC that was issued earlier today. So you're already officially in the risk area from the SPC. So we'll definitely need to look out for that. Instability, like I said, is going to be relatively limited. Not a whole lot of instability, but there's a lot of wind shear to make up for that. And in the mode, like I was talking about here, now we're going to bring back the data here for a minute to show you guys. The mode, like we were saying, is going to be a squall line, just a long line of storms. It's going to roll through here. Yeah, you see that line there? That's a big old squall line. In which, that could be rolling. Timing's very iffy at this point since we're still talking like 3 or 4 days away, so don't take this serious. But sometime for the late 30th, maybe an early 31st could be when you get that line of storms. But the good news about this event is that it's just kind of one line of storms that you get. It's like it's a one and done type of thing. Because ahead of the cold front, I mean there could be maybe a couple storms, but more than likely it's just gonna be a solid line of storms that rolls through. And then once you get on the backside of that cold front, that's where instability is lost. That's where all the instability, that thunderstorm fuel disappears, in which there's like no thunderstorms behind a cold front because of that. So that's good. That's going to be really good. So at least it's just a one and done thing. But unfortunately, the bad thing is that this event could be taking place at nighttime as well, in which, once again, with the ingredients that we have in place, all that amount of instability as well as all that wind shear that we have, that's going to be an environment where we could have some embedded tornadic activity in the line, which that would basically make it impossible to see the tornado because it would be rain wrapped, covered in sheets of rain as it's inside of the heavy precipitation, for one, but also, it'll be nighttime potentially as well, which just kind of makes it a little bit hard to, to kind of to see it. That's an issue. MP, dude, thank you, man, for the 5. I appreciate that, dude. That's really, really sweet of you. Thank you so much, dude. Big shout out goes to MP for the support. Greatly appreciated. Helps us keep on our feet, and I really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Mark, as well as MP, thank you guys for your support today. I appreciate y'all very, very much. Very, very much. So thank you so much, guys. And like I said, it'll be a lot easier tomorrow, or it'll be a lot better tomorrow, because we'll have more than one NAM model to go off of. I mean, this is kind of like the first one that we have. 12 Zulu, yeah, just gets to the point where we need to look, for like late 30th. This was the 12 Zulu from earlier today. Still showing that really strong lower level jet there. GFS, you can see showing a really strong lower level jet there. And Euro, same thing. I mean, you can see that the models there are on agreement, which is, of course, good that we can kind of understand the dynamics, but from what it shows, it's a little ugly. But yeah, we're talking a good like 40, maybe 50 knot lower level jet, which that would be considered pretty strong for tornadic activity. And of course, we do have the all that instability that's available there too. I mean, we're talking in the range of 5 to like 750 joules per kilogram on average. Some pockets higher, some localized pockets could be a little bit higher. Those long range models we were looking at doesn't really pick up on instability as well as like the mid and short range models do. And this is the NAN, which is the mid range model we got here, in which there's going to be some pockets of higher instability potentially with that. So we'll definitely be watching this one closely. And like I said, whenever the event does happen and whenever things do pop off, we will be live here to cover this with you guys, okay? We're here for y'all. Tyler says it's concerning. It's a little concerning, yeah. I mean, but like I said, try not to worry yourself over it too much. I mean, it is concerning. I mean, we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll be live to cover this here with you guys whenever it happens, and we'll keep you guys posted. Tomorrow morning we're gonna do another live stream. Actually, I don't know, because my sleep schedule's been a little off lately. So I'm gonna go live definitely tomorrow night. Of course, like we have been, at least one stream per day as an update for you guys. So tomorrow night we'll do another one as well. Let's see here. How's the golf looking? So the golf, well, like we mentioned, we do have that tropical system in the Caribbean we're watching. Very much unknown of where it's going to go. Some models have it going, up to the north, like GFS, and you have like the CMC that has it going this way. And so it can't really tell what's going to happen with this one. But there is a good chance of potential tropical development here coming up in the Caribbean. So Caribbean islands, at least keep an eye on it. Not a problem for the U.S. right now, which is good. But if you're in the Caribbean islands, just monitor it. There's nothing to worry about right now. I mean, there's still a lot of uncertainty with all that. So, yeah. But other than that, I mean, pretty good. But then, of course, now we're talking that severe weather event here in the U.S., which that's kind of the main focus right now. Let's see here. Crystal, is your birthday today? Happy birthday. Let's see here. But yeah. My area in southwestern Missouri usually gets any tornadoes at night. Why is that? Could just be a, kind of an individual setup thing. It depends on the time of the year, because like I said, this time of the year we do have a lot more of these kind of late night squall line setups. They're pretty common for this time of the year. The reason that a lot of the storms happen at night versus daytime is because that capping inversion, which is acting like a wall or a ceiling to prevent a thunderstorm from continuing to develop, because thunderstorms start from the bottom and they rise up. And so as the day goes on, the sun kind of burns up that cap or that ceiling that prevents that storm from just holding itself and actually allows it to rise. So by the time we usually reach the evening and there towards the nighttime, that is whenever like the environment's fully opened up, basically, which allows for more crazier stuff to usually happen late day into the nighttime. Let's see here. It's a little different during the springtime, because just different atmospheric principles are kind of in play for the spring. It's weird. Like during the springtime, you get like a lot more of those isolated supercell type of storms. That's why spring is so much more severe. It's because those isolated supercells are usually the worst. You don't get a lot of those in the spring, or sorry, in the fall, as much as you do in the spring. Spring's more of like those isolated type of events, supercell events, and then of course you have like the the fall, which is right around now, where we just get usually these long lines, these big old squall lines that come through. So anyways, let's see. But yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking out there for. But we're gonna go and hop on back here to the models here. But we'll definitely keep you guys posted on everything, and with updates, once again, once that mid-range and continues to progress, once we start to get more mid-range model runs, as well as once that short range comes on board, which will be like the day before, we'll have a much better understanding of like timing of the event, fully understanding kind of what we could be at risk for, and stuff like that. So we'll keep you updated. Robert says, "Gotta love this guy. Your intelligence is in this is amazing. Thanks, bro." You're very welcome, man. I really appreciate that. It was very, very nice of you to say. Thank you. And of course, like I said, we'll continue to be here to help y'all out. But yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna do some zip codes like I promised you guys. Yeah, let's do some of those real quickly before we roll off tonight. So we're doing zip code forecast. If you don't know how this works, you put down your zip code. I'll let you, I'm not gonna do like a full in-depth forecast like sometimes we do. This is just to simply tell you if you're gonna be in that risk area in general. So I'll be able to tell you like yes or no if you're gonna be in that risk. So. If you would like, you can put down your zip code, and I will be more than happy to help. Okay. But yeah, like I said, I'm just gonna be letting you guys know, like if you're in that area or not. And where I think there could be severe weather. So just if you'd like to, y'all. Let's see here. I already know I'm getting nothing because I'm in Tennessee. Well, actually, like the NAM did show, I think it was the NAM, or no, it wasn't the NAM, it was the GFS, suggesting maybe that some of the instability could work its way into Tennessee. Was it? Hold on, what day was that? Oh, that's the 18th, that's 12 Zulu. Yeah, so the 18 Zulu shows maybe a little blip of some instability, but that doesn't necessarily mean severe weather when you see that. It just means that there's fuel for thunderstorms. I don't know. It's kind of tough to say, but probably not. It's probably not quite the best of the event for Tennessee out there. All right, Ponderosa, we got you first here. Let's see. You're in Alabama. So Alabama's not going to be in much of a problem with this event, I don't think. Because the instability kind of lags behind. All that instability is going to be basically through the event remaining in mostly these areas here. While eventually that jet stream will kind of get far separated from the instability up to the northeast. So that'll kind of keep you out of it for the most part. So I think you're good. I don't think there's going to be much of an issue for severe weather for you, Ponderosa. Let's see here. I need to know about the marginal risk on Tuesday or Wednesday. Oh, yeah. Hold on real quickly. Let me pull that up real fast because we do have where's SPC? Oh, that's not SPC. There we go. That's SPC. So we do have a marginal I forgot to mention this app Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday they put out a marginal risk here. I think this might be for like Tuesday night. Potential for a couple severe storms in a dark green area, which is like the level 1 out of 5 on the spectrum. So, maybe Wisconsin, western Wisconsin, central southern Minnesota, western Iowa, eastern South Dakota, eastern Nebraska, and like central Kansas. Could see maybe a little bit of severe weather activity. Relatively lower threat, but still a threat. Still a threat. Something we'll need to look out for. All right, next up, we got Bradley. Let's take a look at you, man. So Bradley, you, my friend, I think you're a little far to the south for like any big severe weather activity. However, I think you might be able to see some storms on Halloween, actually. Let's bring you all back over here real quick. So it looks like, first of all, we have the event that happens on Wednesday. You see that big pool of instability that's available. And then, of course, we work our way into the 31st, and you can see, you're kind of roughly in here. So there could still be some remaining remaining instability in the system here, which might cause some storms. But the thing is that the wind shear is going to be fairly weak at this point. Therefore, limiting what those storms are capable of doing, which is the good news, meaning it wouldn't be as severe, if severe at all, but it would definitely limit it quite a bit. And also the longevity of the storms here would probably be a lot shorter because of the fact that, there's no wind shear to kind of separate your updrafts from your downdraft column. you really want to separate that air coming in from that air going out of the storm. And what happens in a low shear environment is the fact that the storm, as it rises, it kind of just collapses on itself because the winds can't really carry that upper part of the storm over as much as it could with a high shear environment. So that would limit how long those storms last. Also limit their severity as well. Let's see here. All right, let's see. Next up, we got we're in the middle of Tennessee. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, Legacy. I think you're good though. I think you're good. I don't think we're gonna have anything out there in Tennessee, at least from what I'm seeing now. Maybe mid-range could pick up on it. We'll have to see. All right, William, got you, man. Let's take a look at William's area here. First of all, let's hop y'all back over here. Okay. All right. So, William, you, my friend, yes, you're actually in that risk area per SPC. So we're going to be seeing like the late 30th, maybe the early 31st, that line rolling through. Once again, there's like no breakdowns right now of like, is it going to be, whatever tornado percentage, hail or damaging wind percentage. It's still a little bit early to tell that because SPC usually does that the day before, starting the day before. And then, of course, the day of, they have that probability as well. But it's too early for that, but you are at risk for severe weather here. I mean, you are in that 15% risk, in which, remember, this is equivalent to a slight risk, which is a level 2 severe weather threat. There still could be an extension for a level 1 in some spots. And this area is not, completely set in stone. It's still not fully fixed in place. I mean, it could definitely wobble around a bit. I guarantee by tomorrow, this is going to look a little bit different than it will today. So keep that in mind. Let's see here. But yeah, that's what we got going on there. Let's see. What about Thursday for the Ohio Valley? So there's not going to be much instability up there. Therefore, thunderstorms are going to be hard to come across. Let's see here. So for Thursday, the 31st. I mean, there's still some pockets of very, very weak instability, but it's heavily capped out. So, nothing would form in that, honestly. So yeah, nothing really big happening for Halloween for you guys. But like I mentioned, down south, there's still going to be that lingering instability towards like the western Gulf Coast, which could allow for some storms to occur out there. Not as severe because, that jet stream is very much detached at that point. Our strongest wind shear is well up to the northeast away from that instability. So those storms are not going to be as organized. Like as they are going to be like on the 30th. The 30th is the main day. Let's see here. Thanks, Legacy. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Indiana will probably not see anything out of this now. Let's see, what's my question about Dallas County, Texas mentioned? Is there a possibility that we could get upgraded, expanded? So expansion is possible, especially this early on. Absolutely. Expansion and de-expansion is definitely a possibility. They could pull some areas that are in the threat right now out of it, and they could add some more areas that are not in it into the threat. That is, a given. I mean, pretty much, this is early talks here. Now, Dallas is under the risk as of now. I mean, Dallas is right on the bottom. But remember, like I said, this is that level 2 threat. This is where, we still have that lower level 1 threat. Absolutely, Dallas will be included in the severe weather threat for this event. Yes. Even though if it looks like you're on the edge of it, no. Because that's the edge of the level 2 threat, the 15% chance severe weather probability. 5% chances for the marginal, which is still a risk. We just don't have that exact preciseness at this time. But we will indeed be in that potential for severe weather. Let's see here. What's up, Samuel? Hope you're doing good, man. Boogeyman, got you, man. Let's see here. Take a look at your area. Texas, gotcha. Yeah, yep. So this area will be in the potential heat for some severe storms. So I would keep an eye on it. It is a possibility. Let's see. Lazy, there's not going to be any threat up in Indiana out of this event here. The event is going to be further to the southwest of Indiana. If we take a look at the models up there towards like Indiana and some of those regions there, while the jet stream will go over you and while there will be some stronger upper level wind shear, the instability will be gone. There's like no energy for those thunderstorms at that point. So yeah, from the way it looks right now, I don't think Indiana's going to have any concern for severe weather. So Samuel, Mississippi could get some storms, maybe more towards the 30th or the 31st. Sorry, we will have to see. Let's see here. Robert says, thanks for having to go. Again, thanks for the update. No problem, man. Have an amazing night. You too. Thank you, Robert, for joining. Appreciate it. Have a great night, man. I'm in the northern part of the county. Thanks for the answer. No problem. No problem, Mega Man. Anytime. Anytime. Yeah, like I said, we're here for you. Here to help you all out as much as we can. And you're very welcome. No problem. But, alrighty, y'all. Well, I am probably going to call it a stream soon. I mean, we've been live over an hour here. Just a bit of an update live stream for you guys. I mean, it's, you know, it's only kind of limited on what the information we have right now. Like I said, we have some mid-range support and some long-range support, but you know, we're gonna really get in that juice whenever the short-range models come out, like HRRR and stuff like that, which is still a couple days away. But tomorrow we'll have a better understanding because we'll actually have more than one run of NAM to be able to look at this event. Because the 18 Zulu, the NAM we were just looking at, is like the only model run of the NAM that we have, you know, for the event right now. So this is like our first official mid-range model run that we have. So we'll continue to watch that. You know, tomorrow we'll obviously do you guys another update and stuff like that. So we'll stream tomorrow night, do another one like this. So we'll keep you guys posted, of course. Let's see here. No problem, Peachy. Thanks for joining. Thank you for moderating. Appreciate it. MD says thanks for all you do. No problem. You're very, very welcome. No problem at all, my friend. Let's see. Next live stream soon. I'm actually gonna go live on my gaming channel later. Not that a lot of you guys would really care. If you go to my main page, you'll actually be able to see my gaming channel. If you guys wanted to join me, I'm gonna be playing a game later on the day. So if you wanted to watch that one, but you know, just go to our main page and you'll see Drewby. That's our that's our main one there. Let's see here. But all right, everybody. Well, thank you all for joining. We'll catch you guys in the next update here. That'll be for tomorrow. What am I going to play? Legacy. I'm going to play some golf. I know a lot of people don't like golf watching it, but trust me, it gets a little interesting whenever I get kind of upset at the players in that game. But anyways. Alrighty, guys. Thanks for joining. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Stream's going to head off here in approximately 2 minutes. So if there's anything you want to go ahead and say to your friends, your family, anybody you're hanging out with here in the chat, go ahead and say your final goodbyes. And once again, a big thank you goes to Mark and MP for the donations today, two $5 super chats. Thank you guys so much for your support. It means a lot to me. Helps keep us afloat over here. So thank you. Thank you. And, you know, once again, everybody, we'll keep you guys posted with the severe weather and everything like that. And like I said, try not to worry about it. Try not to, you know, get worked up over that. You know, I know it's a little concerning, but we'll definitely keep an eye on it. Yeah, I'll link the gaming channel, guys, in the chat here. Let me go ahead and pull it up for you guys. We'll go ahead and link that up here for y'all. But like I said, you guys, thank you once again, everybody, for joining, and of course the people who have supported us. Let's see here. We're going to bring up our gaming channel here for you guys now. Let's see here. Almost. Okay, there we go. All right, here you go, guys. This is our gaming channel right there. If you guys want to join it, we'll be live. I'll go live at like 10 o'clock. So in about 49 minutes. So see you guys over there. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. You guys have a wonderful rest of your night, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. See you later, guys.